actually outside on this gorgeous day at the Sub-Zero Wolf Cove showroom in New Jersey somewhere in an undisclosed location. What? Where is it? Pine Brook. I'm joined with Chef Anne-Marie and chef and owner of Izzy's BBQ in Brooklyn and Manhattan, Shirley Edelman. And I'm really excited that everyone's here today. You're getting sort of like a sneak peek on how our articles are made. This is a Fleishigs Culinary School article being made right here on Instagram Live in front of you, and it's brought to you by AJ Madison. And we're going to get started. So as we're going through it, and we're going to be discussing how to grill chicken, the best way to grill whole chicken, how to season it with expert Shirley Edelman. Feel free to ask any of your questions, and we'll answer as we go along. So let's get started. What do we have here?
All right, here we have a 4-pound whole chicken, which we're actually gonna spatchcock, and we're actually gonna finish it with. Once it's done, we're gonna finish it with an Alabama white sauce. So it's a horseradish-based sauce. We're gonna start with the spatchcock.
What does it mean to spatchcock?
So pretty much what we're gonna do is I'm gonna be removing the backbone from the chicken, and the reason why I want to do that is so this way I could sort of open the chicken for it to be as even as possible, because when you have a steak, you have a nice even steak and it's easy to get an even sear, but with the chicken, it's not necessarily a uniformed piece, so it could be tricky when you're trying to grill it. So the reason why we do that, the reason why we spatchcock the chicken is that we have a nice even cook all around the chicken.
So just to clarify, you're sort of like splitting the chicken so it's like that it makes it evenly cooked.
Correct.
So that's like the ideal way. You wouldn't put a whole chicken on the grill.
Correct. You would not put a whole chicken on the grill, for sure.
Okay. And when it comes to like starting at this point, are you going to get your grill started? When do you get your grill started? Before we even start the chicken, or after?
So before I had it, I was in the food industry. I was always worried about running, preparing. Now it's like I'll get the grill started, I'll do the prep, and I'll try to work as efficient as I can. So usually I'll get the grill started because usually grills take a while until they get hot, and especially at home where I use a charcoal grill a lot. So I'm just used to starting everything
so you want to preheat your grill just like
yeah,
you would
for sure
preheat.
helps. Yeah, absolutely.
Chef Anne-Marie, what do you say? Chef Anne-Marie is here from the Sub-Zero Cove Wolf showroom, and she's going to tell us just a little bit about when's the ideal time to heat the grill. How do you get the grill started? What are we working with here today?
So the ideal time usually to start something is at least 20 minutes. At least 20 minutes before you're going to use it. You'll push the red knobs in, you'll turn them, it'll ignite, close it, and then you can check the temperature gauge right in front.
What grill are we using today?
So we're using the 42-inch grill that's in a cart. You can get it either in a cart or you can have it built into a built-in unit like
so
that.
Cool. Okay. It's like beyond just like a grill, it's like a lifestyle piece. Because like it's like a party ready to start.
I like that. It's a party ready to start. And besides the grill, we have everything else for your party ready to start. We have built-in ice makers, we have ventilation, we have a dishwasher that you can use outside our Cove.
Cool.
We have a model for outside. So everything you need for that party room outside, Sub-Zero Wolf Cove makes.
Okay, very cool. Okay, so we're going to get started by spatchcocking the chicken. We preheated the grill. It's nice and hot. So now all we have to do is spatchcock, and we're going to leave it up to the expert.
Yeah, so we got our trusty gloves over here.
Yeah.
Just speaking about that grill, I'm not used to seeing gas grills in general get so hot, but that is maintaining great heat. I think it's like over like 600 degrees would be so ideal for a nice piece of steak. So we're going to start with flipping the chicken over is the first thing we're going to do. You could do it with a knife. You could do it with a knife, or you could do it with shears. I always say it's better to do it with shears because you're able to get an exact cut. But I don't know how much longer we're gonna have shears. So the way you want to start it from the neck part over here. You want to cut it almost like a second. You want to cut it. You don't want to make sure that you want to go like right on the side of the backbone, right in the middle on the side. You don't want to go too far because you realize that you're not putting too much effort and pressure, and it's cutting pretty easily. Obviously, skin is a little bit tricky, but it's other than that, it's cutting pretty smooth. I'm not like putting too much effort.
Okay, that's really cool. And as we're doing it, feel free to ask questions if anything pops up.
I'll do the same thing on the other side, obviously.
Okay, cool. What do you do with the bone? Like, can you save it for something?
Stock and stuff. Yeah, that's the traditional way you can do it.
Throw it into your chicken stock.
Yeah, throw it into your chicken stock. You could even grill it and then throw it in the stock after to give it some more flavor if you really want to make the stock interesting. But yeah, it definitely be used.
Have you ever grilled a neck and just eaten it?
More so with turkey necks. They're delicious to grill.
Oh, nice.
So chicken necks, not so much. All right, so now you see over here, you see the chicken. It's still not flat, right? It's almost flat, but it's not flat. So the next thing we have to do is there's the wishbone over here on top of the chicken. So what I'm gonna do is I'm not even gonna remove it. All I'm doing is I'm making a little incision right over here, and that's sort of going to allow me, you see that? That's really going to allow me to flatten the chicken properly. Now, the next thing you could do is you want to play around and you want to, you know, start deboning it. You can. You could remove this over. You would cut down the sides over here and you would remove it. But I don't mind. It acts as a heat shield as well for the grill, so I really don't mind. So now when I flip the chicken over, we got a nice flat chicken. If you want to get a little fancy as well, you know, you can put this under here if it wants to stay. I don't know. This wing is not behaving, but this is more for aesthetics, really. Now we have a beautiful, even piece of chicken that we could grill.
Oh, nice. Look how great that looks. Wow.
So now as far as when it comes to seasoning, it's really you know, on taste. You know, I could tell you that this specific recipe requires the chicken, once it's done, to actually dunk it in the white sauce. So I'm not so obsessed with, you know, in terms of the spices and everything. So with this much, we're pretty much going to go with, you know, salt, pepper, paprika, some sugar, really, and really that's it. I'm going very simple. But obviously, there's so many good rubs out there, whether it's, you know, Trader Joe's or some other companies, or even, you know, making in-house rubs if there's ingredients you specifically, you know, like to work with. You know, it goes on and on. But, you know, for this specific recipe, we're just going simple: salt, pepper, paprika, some garlic. That's it, really. Cool.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Like, would you recommend, like, some people like to marinate their chicken. Do you think that's necessary?
Yeah, it's on for sure, absolutely. So in terms of marinating, yes, brine not necessarily, because like I said, because we do have a brining process already when we're, you know, salting the chickens after it's slaughtered.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say brining necessarily, but in terms of, let's say, marinating, there's for sure benefit to doing that. If you want to
make it in advance.
Yeah, for sure. Like the day before you make your marinade. You know what I like to use? I like to use the simple Italian dressings that they have in the store for the marinade.
Oh, okay,
simple.
cool.
It's acidic. Works really well. You throw on there a rub after. That's phenomenal. Yeah. So we're just going simple over here. We're gonna get our spices over here. We got some salt. Probably a tablespoon of salt, pretty much. I'm going very, very simple.
Okay.
With this over here, got some black pepper. Probably a half a tablespoon of black pepper.
We have someone asking whether we should marinate overnight.
Sure.
You can basically, go ahead. You're the expert. I was saying that we just discussed it, but it's a great question.
For me, ideally, when it comes to chicken, it's probably between 12 hours around is what I would do. But you could do overnight. You could do up to 24 hours. You know, one thing you have to consider is that with chicken, you know, the last thing you want is slimy chicken or skin that's not crisp. So another trick what I do is once it's in the marinade, I allow it to air dry a little bit, so you're able to get a nice crispy skin on the chicken.
So over marinating can sometimes make the chicken soggy.
Yes, soggy. Also, sometimes the flavor of the marinade gets a bit too intense. Also, so it really depends. So garlic, some onion powder. We got some cayenne. Paprika actually, but simple. And again, this is not like you could play with this as much as you want. You could go. There's so many rubs out there online, really, that you could really go to town with this.
Customized to your liking.
Correct. So we're gonna season the inside first. Because we still want to make sure that we're getting the flavor on the inside of the chicken as well. You could also, if you're having an issue with the seasoning to stick, you could either use mustard, some oil. Either one will help it stick.
That's a great tip. So mustard or oil will help the rub stick to the chicken.
It's not going to be an issue, especially something that you're grilling for longer than 5 minutes. You're not going to have an issue that the meat's going to taste like mustard or anything. It's just not really an issue.
And for everyone who's joining us now, all this information is going to be in an upcoming article in the July issue of Fleishigs magazine. This is sort of each issue has a culinary school section. And this live event is brought to you by AJ Madison, and it's going to be in our upcoming July issue. So all this information will be in the live save, but the exact recipe and tips and tricks and even more will be in that future magazine. Cool. So make sure not to miss it. So when it comes to the grill that we're using today, Anne-Marie, you want to tell us just a little bit about it?
Sure. So this is our 42-inch stainless grill. The stainless, high-quality stainless. It's weatherproof stainless, so it'll help prevent rusting. You have our signature red knobs, dial feature here. When we open it up, we were talking about high heat before, so we have a sear zone here that goes up to 25,000 BTUs, and then you can drop it down to about 12,000.
Where's the ideal spot for the chef to put
So
the
for
chicken
his chicken,
Yeah.
depending
'Cause
on
we're ready to put the chicken on the grill.
Sure. So depending on how hot you want it, the sear zone may be a great place to start it. You get your high 2 minutes on here, nice quick crisp crust, and then you move it over to the lower temperature of the briquettes. The briquettes are, they'll last the lifetime of the grill. Once you cook on them, if anything drips on them, the heat from cooking will dissolve any of that. So you
Okay,
can.
so I guess we can get the chicken right there on the sear zone.
You can.
Okay. So the sear zone is also good. You can put it on. We're just going
Sure,
to
go
chat
ahead.
about it. So the sear zone, besides chicken, like what other types of meats would you put on that side of the grill?
So over here, so you'd probably want to do like a very high, thick
I'm actually
meat.
going to start. Sorry.
A thick steak, fish, just anything you want to do for a few minutes that you want to get a nice sear on. Smells great.
That looks so cool. So you put the skin side down. Why?
I like starting with the sear first, but you could really go any side. I like starting with the skin side first, especially that's a cold, piece of cold, skins. Versus once you put it on the bottom, it's already starting to get heat. So I like getting that crisp first.
That's so cool. There's nothing like real
There's
chicken.
also you don't have to do this necessarily. Like if you're, for example, if you were doing either a roast or smoking the chicken, like you would put it on the indirect side, meaning right away. Let's say, for example, I'm gonna have this part of the grill off, and the reason why I'm gonna do that is because it's a whole chicken. If I try to, look what's gonna happen. If I leave it on there, I'm just gonna burn it throughout and throughout, really. So the best way, it's almost like a smoke, almost like a roast, really, because you're not smoking at it, meaning it's a little hotter than your traditional 250 degrees in there, probably closer to 300 over here. So it's getting a little more hotter, but it's the same idea where you have your hot zone and you have your indirect zone, and that's how the chicken's going to be cooking over time.
Okay, great. So could you recap that, like the idea of the hot zone and the cooler zone on the grill?
So
I think that's important.
Yeah, exactly. So I always recommend that anytime you're gonna set up your grill for grilling, for whatever it is, it could be veggies or anything. I always leave a certain amount of the grill. I leave empty. I leave that's cool. Whether it's charcoal, gas or anything, I always leave an empty space because, like I said, you have flare-ups like this, and if your whole grill is gonna be this hot, you're gonna burn everything. You have people cooking chicken on the grill in general. A lot of times they're just throwing some sauce on there and they're burning it, and it's all crisp on the outside, but inside it's raw. So it's crucial that you have your zones that are able to work with. Now, it's getting hot already. I'm moving it around. Done.
Okay, great.
And that's the idea now. And now what we do is we're gonna pretty much this thing gets really hot pretty cool.
Yes, it really does.
We're gonna close this over here, and it'll probably be anywhere, probably 45 minutes to an hour based on this heat. But again, I always recommend carrying a thermometer. There's no shame, like especially with chicken. You don't want to serve people raw chicken.
Okay.
Last thing you want to do, you want to have it. One of the ways to tell if you don't have a thermometer is when that drumstick, for example, like here, this is the finished product we made earlier. If that's not giving me any resistance, that when I want to turn it almost, like when I'm breaking this off to the video, but pretty much you see how it's like effortless, pretty much how it's
so
breaking.
cool.
That's one of the ways. If I know that it's starting to go back right away, I know that it's still not done. But ideally, it's usually like 175 in the thigh and 160 around in the breast.
And the other great thing too, if you didn't spatchcock it, we have the rotisserie here, and that rotisserie will hold up to 25 pounds of food. So you could probably get a good 4 or 5, the 5-pound chickens. You could probably get 4 or 5 on there.
So if
on
you
the
get
rotisserie.
a grill with a rotisserie, you can just do a straight up whole chicken.
Correct, and all our grills come with the
You want to
rotisserie.
show everyone the rotisserie?
Sure.
It's so cool.
Sure. So the rotisserie's here, and then this is the dial for the rotisserie.
Okay. Oh, there's also lights on
Yeah,
the...
halogen lights. But yeah, this will hold at least a good 4 5-pound chickens. 5. Yeah, so on the edge, so here's your high sear zone. Here's your 2 briquettes, and on the right-hand side is a smoker. So what you'll do for the smoker is you'll take whatever wood chips you want, you'll soak them, you'll put them in, and you'll regulate your heat from the top. And when you smoke, it's never above 300 degrees. So the smoker box, the great thing about that as well is it's removable. So if you weren't going to smoke and you're having a big party, you can take that smoker box out, and then there's an extra set of briquettes that go with it. There is storage. Here's actually this is the briquettes that you would use. This is the briquettes you would use if you took the smoker box out. And you can see here, of course, we have storage underneath here. One of the nice things about the grill is that the gas tank slides right out. And underneath here, we have a shelf as well. This is an automatic igniter if you need needed to use a match to light it, you just put the match in the end there, drop it in, and you can ignite it with a match.
Okay, that's so cool. So this incredible grill is available at AJ Madison. They have a showroom in Brooklyn, so check them out, AJ Madison. And we're just going to recap what we did for the chicken for everybody that joined us now. Pit Boss, Shirley Edelman, is going to recap the whole chicken technique for everyone who just joined us. So just give like a 60-second recap on how to grill chicken.
Got it. So again, obviously you could either spatchcock it or not. You could cook it half, you could cook it whole, but the idea is that you want the chicken to be nice and flat so you get a nice even cook. You're going to start off either one option is like she did earlier, is where she gave the chicken a sear first, or you could throw it directly on the indirect side, the side that is not hot over there, and give it more like a roast or a smoke really. And you probably on a grill like this, which is probably like 300 degrees, it's probably on a 4-pound bird, probably like 45 minutes to an hour to grill. As far as the glaze, like we were speaking earlier in terms of like when do you sauce and not, so you could either you sauce only towards the end. That's the only time you sauce really, because if you sauce too early, especially if the sauce has any sugars or anything, the sugars will really start to burn off and give it an awful taste towards the chicken. Another option is you could sauce also as soon as it comes off the grill, but towards the last 5 minutes of the cook is when you would sauce it. Cool?
Yeah, sounds good. Do you see any questions regarding chicken cooking? Does anyone have any questions about grilling chicken? Anything that Chef Shirley was talking about? I said chef 100 times, by the way.
Make sure it doesn't happen again. I'm kidding.
Okay. So basically, we were talking about spatchcocking is the ideal way because it's going to make the chicken cook the most evenly. And people were wondering, what's the name of the grill that we're using? What is this grill called? It's
called the Wolf 42-inch grill.
There's no fancy name. It's just the Wolf 42-inch grill.
No.
I don't know.
I was like, is there a name? No, that's it. 42-inch. So it comes in 30, 36, 42, and 54.
Okay.
So this is the 42-inch one.
And for any other questions, just check out AJ Madison. They're going to let you know, and they're going to answer all your questions about grilling. And it's the ideal time to start thinking about it because this is the season. So once the chicken comes off the grill, let's talk sauce.
Yeah, so you could go no sauce, with sauce, barbecue sauce. We're actually doing a traditional. It's based out of Decatur, Alabama, and the restaurant that originated this sauce is called Big Bob Gibson's, and it's called an Alabama white sauce. The reason why we're doing this sauce here because it's not your traditional sauce which you see in kosher. Usually, everything's more catered to sweet, to spicy. This is really not your typical sauce, and it's actually, delicious. The first time I had it, I was really surprised.
Yeah, like you see these ingredients, you're like, what's going on here? But I love it because we're all about bringing something new to the table, and that's what we're going to do right now. So what is it? What's the flavors? How would you describe it? So
the flavors, for sure, it's acidic, it's horseradish, obviously
nice.
Heavy, super, this is crucial. You have to have fresh horseradish, which is super crucial, a little bit sweet, tangy, you want to say, but pretty much the recipe is, it's a half a cup mayo over here, then you're going to have a half a cup of apple juice, a quarter cup of apple juice. You're going to have 2 tablespoons of cider vinegar, 1 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon, 1 tablespoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of black pepper. It was an eighth of a teaspoon of cayenne, a half a teaspoon of garlic powder and onion powder, and then you're using 1 teaspoon of lemon or lime, either one you're going to use. Some sugar. We're also using 1 tablespoon of sugar as well. This is already the sauce we pre-made here because we're a little worried about the wind earlier that the rub's going to fly everywhere. But pretty much this is the sauce. You want it to have a nice loose consistency. You don't want it to be like thick, super loose, because really the goal of this is that you're supposed to dunk the chicken in the sauce. We're not going to do that because I don't have a big enough plate of that. But pretty much once the chicken comes off the grill, as soon as it comes off the grill, while it's piping hot, the goal is you want to just literally pour it over the chicken.
That is so cool. Wow. Yum. It has like a buttermilk look to it, by the way.
Yeah, and that's what it is. And you're good
Chef
to eat
Anne Marie, you ever tried Alabama white sauce?
I'm so sorry.
Do you want to try the Alabama white sauce? Have you ever tried it?
No, I have not.
Okay, so go for it. We have an expert chef taster.
And this is definitely the kind of thing you cannot pick up and nicely
No, there's no way. But go for it.
All right.
We'd love your
Thank you.
feedback. Oh,
Oh, I thought the napkin was for
it
me.
is for you.
Oh, it's for you all.
Here.
Yeah, cut me
That's
off a
for you
little piece.
also.
That'd be
Here.
great.
Let me get a glove over here, but that's okay. Sorry. Yeah, so this is also super easy to serve after. I'll show you without the sauce, so it won't be as messy. But
Perfect.
you're going like that, and then you're just going like that. And this way it's easy to serve. You can cut up the breast again if you want, but yeah. Break this glass plate. Here, you do this whole thing like this.
No.
That looks amazing.
All right.
Okay, go for it. We're waiting with bated breath.
I'm eating on television. That's gonna come home with me. Oh my god, it's so good. It's a different kind of texture on it because you don't usually have something creamy on something like this, and I love that this has so much flavor, and instantly your mouth cools down because you have this creamy, light sauce on top of it. It's really delicious, really, really delicious. I'm gonna back out of
Okay,
the.
we're getting another taster.
I'm gonna back out of the shot and go finish it.
Yeah, tell us what you think about this Alabama white sauce. What do you think?
Go ahead.
It's just something like
You wanna cut
we
me?
actually featured in Hanukkah time. We did an Alabama white sauce in the Hanukkah issue, but we never served it with grilled chicken. So this is something really cool. What do you say?
Izzy's chicken is always amazing, but that white sauce definitely takes it over the top. Really, I like the horseradish together with all the spices. Great stuff.